Hey everyone, Arts and Crafts here, back with some more daily GOAT format Yu-Gi-Oh content for you all. Today's feature match, we've got Otse no idea if I'm saying that right, versus Pepe 93. As always, at the time this match was played, both players were ranked in the top 200 on the Dueling Book GOAT format ladder, so some more high-rated content here for you guys. And let's get right into it. I'm going to start off with Atsikad deciding to go first. And they are going to open with a Delinquent Duo. Great card to start with. Going to get some info on what Pepe 93 is playing and potentially gain some advantage as well. They hit a Zaborg, the Thunder Monarch. Interesting. Pretty good card. Not too many decks use it, though, so it'll be interesting to see what Pepe ends up being on. They're going to discard a Gravekeeper Spy. So this does turn on Chaos. That's an important thing to note. Could have been a factor in what Pepe was deciding to discard. But Otsekatch is going to set a back row pass, and Pepe's down a card, but without too much pressure on them at the moment. But we're going to get Standby Face Trap Dust Shoot. So Otsekatch deciding to duo into Dust Shoot, usually against an unknown opponent. It's good to duo first, just so you know they're not going to like set their hand, and then you won't be able to get full value for the duo later if they're playing like a warrior deck that plays a ton of back row. So definitely like the sequencing here at the opening of game one. We'll see what Pepe is on. Interesting hand here. They got a Dust Shoot of their own, Thunder Dragon, Breaker the Magical Warrior, and the second Gravekeeper Spy. So it makes sense that they discarded the one. Pretty redundant. We see Atsikad's here hand. We've got Serpent, another Breaker, Metamorphosis, Snatch Steal. So it definitely looks like some sort of Chaos control, maybe, or Goat control against some sort of turbo deck that plays Zaborg, maybe? Or maybe it's like Chaos Control with Zaborg, I guess we'll see. If you're Atsikad here, you're not really too worried about much of this hand. I could see just like taking away the Thunder Dragon, honestly. Or maybe taking away the Breaker, because it answers your Snatch. But like Spy, you're not super worried about, because you can always just go Sinister into Metamorphosis to suck it in. So I like picking either Breaker or T-Drag here. I'm going to pick the Spy, though, which is kind of interesting. Okay, we'll see how that ends up working out for them. Either way, Trap Just Use spins back the Spy. Pepe's going to fire off that Thunder Dragon, go back up to 4 cards in hand. Normal summon that Breaker that we knew about and start getting it for 19. So it's going to dissuade Asticad from playing any unchainable back row, including stuff like the Snatch Shield we know they have. Although you could always just go Snatch the Breaker, right? Seems like a decent play. Asticad's going to draw for turn. The known Dust Shoot, of course. Drew Magical Merchant for turn. So if you're Pepe, you've got double Thunder Dragon in hand. Got some options to put back here. Snatch is coming, and there's not much you can do about it. I could see putting back the Breaker just so that they can't pressure you, because that's a lot of attack. That's probably the play. Because Asticat can get really aggressive right now if they just want like Snatch the Breaker or normal summon your own Breaker and get in for 38. I'd be pretty worried about that. Gets rid of the Serpent, though. Obviously a strong combo between Serpent and Metamorphosis, so I can understand that. But the meta is still live on the Magical Merchant, because that's also a level 1 monster. It's generally why you see these merchants played. It's a level 1 light monster, and it grabs you spells, which in a goat meta sort of deck, it's really good to just be able to dig for stuff like that. Serpent's back in deck. That does make Magical Merchant a little bit better, too, right? Because they can mill the Serpent and then plus off of it. But we'll see if that ends up mattering. Serpent gets spun back. Asticad's going to normal summon the Breaker, Snatch Steal the other Breaker, and this was, I figure this is what Pepe would have been worried about, because this is a lot of pressure, and you have just 2 Thunder Dragons in hand. But I guess hoping to find an answer to this sooner rather than later. They're going to gain a little bit of life from the Snatch Steal. Oh, and they top decked BLS. Holy moly. Not bad. Probably the best card in the deck to have grabbed here. You can just attack over both of them if you want, right? Gets you a dark back engrave to turn on future chaos. Your opponent gets a dark engrave as well, but you're not super duper worried about that. You know, merchants in hand, that's a light, but you can always just banish that probably. And yeah, so BLS is just gonna attack over both. That is a ton of damage coming in, putting SDCAD down to 2,900, and they looked like they were sitting pretty, but the top deck BLS bails out Pepe here. And then main phase 2, we're gonna tribute set the Thunder Dragon, getting the BLS in a grave. Interesting maneuver. You know the hand is... Oh, I guess the idea is you don't want them to have a big monster to suck in with the Merchant plus Metamorphosis into Thunder Thousand Eyes combo, right? Because then that's a 2-turn clock, and you just have nothing to do with that. So this, at least, if they suck in your monster, they won't be able to deal any damage with the Thousand Eyes, because it'll have 0 attack. Asticad, though, your pretty solid plan got broken up by the BLS, but it's not going to stick around. So do you just go for Merchant plus meta here? Oh, we drew knock. That's really interesting. Okay, so now this is actually really good because you can knock the Thunder Dragon, clear out their board. You can set the Merchant, and then next turn you have the option to flip it, grab something, and then it's still alive for the Metamorphosis. Pepe, how do you respond here? Got top deck Chaos Sorcerer. Oh man, what a crazy sequence of top decks here from Pepe. But this is the power of turbo decks, I guess. So that's going to beat over the Merchant. We'll see what they grab with it. They grab a Swords of Revealing Light. Interesting main deck card. You don't see that every day. But maybe they're running like some sort of like Giant Trunade sort of deck, perhaps. Maybe like an Abyss Soldier could make it better. It does dump another Light Engrave. Not that it matters, but you do have 2 Chaos Monsters potentially here. Swords will be able to stop the Sorcerer from... otherwise that would be a 2-turn clock here. So you're not super unhappy with that Swords pickup. And you milled some stuff that, I guess Faith plus Snatch answers the Sork. But you milled some stuff that doesn't directly impact or directly answer the Sork, at least immediately. So you're probably happy with that Merchant activation. Going to draw for turn. Just going to play the Swords of Revealing Light and try to draw their way out of this. I think that's totally fair, especially knowing what's in their hand. Pepe's just going to set a back row pass, holding onto that second Thunder Dragon in hand. Notably, if they draw like another Sork, well, I guess you would never tribute away your current Sork to summon another Sork, unless you like, there could be some cool plays where you use Sork's effect to banish one and then tribute it for Thunder Drag, summon Sork number 2, and then you can attack or banish again with that, if you want to. That's 1 turn gone of the Swords of Revealing Light. SDCAD draws again. Just going to add a couple back row. One of those is... I guess it doesn't have to be Bluff Set Metamorphosis, but it's probably kind of likely. Pepe's going to set a Monster Pass, so you got to be a little bit worried. There's not anything super insane that this could be. Like, resolving a Dekoichi or a Spy is annoying, but nothing crazy. But you do only have 1 more turn left of the Swords of Revealing Light protection, so you gotta find an answer soon to this, otherwise you're going to be under some serious trouble. And, Sorcerer plus Dekoichi or Spy is lethal, so gotta be ready for that. Gad's just going to draw pass. Seeing 1 more card with the Swords. We got Metamorphosis, for the Chaos Sorcerer to go into Ryu Senshi, so saying, alright, I'm going to start attacking next turn. If you have Mirror Force or anything, I do not care. I've got 5,000 life points. That gives me 5 uses of Ryu Senshi if I need to negate trap effects. We'll see if this is enough. We're going to flip some of the Dekoichi, so this is lethal on board. Something like a Heavy Storm could be quite strong here. Main phase 2. We have the Souk Loop on the Dekoichi. Wow, Pepe just drew some crazy stuff this game to get, beat what was a very strong start from Asticad with Duo plus Shoot plus Snatch. A lot of good cards here from Pepe to get out of this sticky situation. And they have the Souk Loop to continue to apply card advantage pressure, as well as that just representing lethal on the board in combo with the Ryu Senshi. So now the swords is gone, so Astiked, you have to find an answer here. A lot of your good answers are turned off by Ryu Senshi because you can just negate all your traps like Mirror Force and stuff like that. So what's the play here? I'm going to set 2 back row pass. A little bit scary if there's Heavy Storm, but maybe a lot of these are chainable. Could be like, we know they're on metas, so something like a Scapegoat could definitely draw them or afford them a lot more time to draw into some better stuff. We'll see what they have to answer the potentially lethal swing here. Pepe draws for turn. Heavy Storm, there it is. One of them was a Scapegoat, though, so that is probably going to resolve. You are blowing up your own Mirror Force here, but, you're the one who wants to be the aggressor right now, so I think that's fine. And then you get the bluff set meta that we pretty much knew about, and it hits a Royal Decree and a Book of Moon. Interesting. Yeah, no point in, booking the Ryu Senshi or anything. Oh, you don't even have any targets because the Ryu Senshi would just negate it. So that's a lot of card advantage here for Pepe. And they could just kill 3 of these Go tokens and represent lethal next turn, so the Scapegoat isn't even buying you too much time, but, you got to do what you got to do if you're Asti Cat and you're on the back foot here. Put someone to Koichi, draw another card. Kill 2. Main phase 2, set a monster. I guess the idea could be flip summon Tsukiyomi next turn, and then you can flip the Koichi as well, and if you have another monster in hand, you can go for lethal. I think that makes sense. We don't know 100% that this set monster is Tsukiyomi, but I definitely think that would be a decent play. Asticad, you got 2 goats between your life points and your opponent's monsters. Do you have a play here? We got Metamorphosis, that's pretty good to shut everything down. That'll summon out Thousand Eyes Restrict. Suck in the Ryu Senshi. Now you do know that there's the Tsukiyomi somewhere, so unless that card in hand is an answer to that, this is only kind of temporary, but at least you've been able to deal with the threat. We're going to attack this set. Is it the Tsukiyomi? No, it was a Magician of Faith. So they can grab back, I guess. I mean, Metamorphosis doesn't do much when all your monsters are level 4. So this is a kind of a not so exciting Faith. Although Heavy Storm could be good depending on if Asticad is going to set a back row here. You're going to grab the Heavy Storm, make sure that I think that makes sense from Pepe, just make sure that even if they have back row to protect their Thousand Eyes, you can always just Heavy Storm, clear it out, and then deal with it with the Tsukiyomi, and continue to apply pressure with the Suk and the Dekoichi. Yeah, so they are going to set that back row. Makes you think it's probably chainable. Pepe's going to draw for turn. Oh, it is a Trap Dust Shoot, so that's an answer to Tsukiyomi that gets around Heavy Storm. That's pretty good. We'll see what's in the hand. We have the known Thunder Dragon, the known Tsukiyomi, the known Heavy Storm, and they drew Snatch Steal, which is pretty nasty right about now. Because this is a 2000 attack point, Thousand Eyes Restrict, so snatching that is going to put a ton of pressure on Asticad. I think, of course, you send back the Tsukiyomi here. That's not really debatable. But now you have to worry about this Snatch Steal. Yeah, so Snatch on the Thousand Eyes. We're just going to tribute it away for the Thunder Dragon, because either way, it's a 2-turn clock. I think that makes sense. Dekoichi will kill the token, and Thunder Dragon will hit them down to 1,300. And you got to be a little bit scared here if you're Asticad. No cards on board, staring down lethal. You know about back row set heavy? Kind of interesting play, because they know what it is, but it is what it is, I guess. Asticad, what do you have? Nope, just going to have to concede. So, really good game 1, really competitive. Asticad got off to a really strong start with the duo plus Dust Shoot, but Pepe back-to-back top deck chaos to just really turn things around and then really never let up from that point onwards. So go to game 2 here. Asticad going first. I guess, what is this? Goat control versus chaos control? We haven't seen any Thunder Dragons out of Asticad yet, so it's not guaranteed that they're on, a standard chaos strategy, right? They're going to draw for turn. Just going to set to pass. Pepe, what's the play? Set 4 pass. That's a lot of stuff. You got to think one of them's probably a Dust Shoot. We're going to get end phase Royal Decree, though, which could just be a complete and total blowout, depending on what these back row are. If you're Pepe, you got to hope one of them Gotta hope that either there are a lot of spells or you have like an MST or something to do with this decree. Maybe a breaker in hand or something. Well, if you had breaker, you probably play it, right? So this could be a complete, just like turn one blowout here from Asticad, depending on what Pepe has set here. And you see Decree. I'm not a. I think Decree is a good card. Um, in control decks, it's kind of interesting. Like, yes, they can get away with playing Decree because they don't rely on a lot of traps in the way like Turbo and other decks like that do. So it is a deck that can play Decree without just losing to itself. But it often, I feel like Decree works better in aggressive decks because not having to play around Mirror Force and Torrential Tribute and stuff is generally better for aggressive decks. So strategically, it doesn't always align with what Control's kind of trying to do, but it is sometimes just great for being able to cheese games like this if you can 4-for-1 your opponent or something insane with a Royal Decree. Asticat here going to draw for turn, set a back row pass, so nothing committed to board here. No threats from either player. Might just be a slow one. Pepe draw pass, Asticat draw pass. Sounds like a control mirror. Draw set pass for X Pepe. Asticad set a monster pass. Okay, so someone's finally committed something to the board. You got to think it's probably not a real set because we haven't seen any cards played so far. Draw pass from Pepe. Asticad draw. Flip up spy. Okay, so it was a real set. We're going to get a spy resolution here. Pepe, do you have a response? I mean, there's not really, with Decree on the field, unless you have like Torrential plus MST to get rid of the Decree, there's not a lot you can do to respond to this spy here. So I like Asticad just getting aggressive here. And like I was saying, Decree is better when you're being the aggressor, so I like just going double attack mode spy and trying to get in because you don't have too much to play around. XPepe does have the most recent set that was set since the Decree was played. Is a scapegoat though. It's going to buy them a little bit of time. Spy's going to kill two of them. We're going to add another set monster to the board for Asticad. Now, Pepe, do you have a Metamorphosis, or are you just going to let these spies clear you out here? Let's see. We got Snatch Steal on the spy, so that's a good way to deal with them. Ooh, but the Book of Moon is really strong here. Great card, especially in Decree decks, because obviously it's not a trap. And this is, especially assuming they play the third spy, this is really strong. You answer the Snatch Steal with one card, and you can flip up the spy again to go super aggro next turn. Pepe's going to add a set monster and another back row to the board, but you got to think this Decree is probably doing a ton of work here for Asticad. And we'll see if they're able to continue to get aggressive here. We got Nobleman of Cross out on the new set. Now, you got to be a little bit worried that it's like another spy, unless you have the third spy in hand, in which case you don't really care. But you would probably want to flip your spy first and then knock so that your third spy doesn't get banished in case you are hitting a spy. We'll see if that matters though. You hit the spy, okay. So they're either not running the third spy, or it's in hand, or it's this third set monster. It could be for sure. But either way, you turn Pepe off the spies here. It's either in hand or you're only running two. We're gonna be able to flip up the Magician of Faith though. Interesting to see. I guess we can just grab Book of Moon because it can, I don't know, Faith grab Book to reset your Faith doesn't really do a lot. But, I mean, Knock is just a generally good card. So I can see just grabbing Knock. And this allows you to, Magician of Faith only has 300 attack, but that can clear a goat token. So it doesn't really matter as long as it's greater than 0. So you can get a little bit aggressive here with the Faith and actually start applying pressure to your opponent's life points, unless they have like another scapegoat set or something. Yeah, Faith will kill a token, Spy will kill a token, second Spy will get in for 12. Alright, Nasty using this Decree to really good effect. And phase 2, we're going to set a back row, pass. Oh, they did grab the book off of the Faith, which is a little bit interesting. But I guess it can just be useful for stuff like if we have normal summon Tribe out of X Pepe. Book can be good. Breaker could be good because obviously Breaker deals with Decree, and so it makes sense to try and out that. So I think Book actually does a lot here. A lot of stuff that deals with your board state loses to Book, so I like it. We're gonna get another set monster out of Asti Cat as well. So Pepe, you got a lot of stuff to deal with. These spies are applying pressure. You draw Thunder Dragon for turn, which doesn't seem like it's doing too much for you. We're gonna normal summon Magician of Faith. Pass. Why would you do this? That's really interesting. Like, what does normal summon Faith do for you here? I guess we'll see if they have anything up their sleeve, but nothing obvious to me as to why you'd want to normal summon this Faith. Maybe you have your own Book of Moon and you want to play around on second knock, perhaps. We'll see. Asticad though, we're gonna normal summon Tsukuyomi. Okay, so we've got the Suk loop on the Faith here. Big threat here to deal with. If you're Pepe, it's gonna grab the knock. Suk will kill the Faith. Yeah, so they did have their own book playing around knock by doing that. And now the question is, are you gonna grab Scapegoat or are you gonna grab Snatch Steal? You could also grab the book again, I guess, but that seems not great. I can see grabbing the Snatch Steal to go for the same play you tried recently, snatch the spy, and then clear up both spies with that. They're going to grab the Scapegoat, though, just to put up a wall. I think that makes sense as well. Don't know what's in their hand, of course, but maybe you want to buy time to like find back row removal for this decree. Faith gets in, both spies get in. And now you put your opponent down to 4,100 here for your STCAD, so you're pretty happy about this, being able to get aggressive. You're going to end turn, Suk returns to hand, it can do more fun stuff next turn. You did not flip up this other set monster, so it's probably not something super real. It could be like the third spy, maybe. Pepe's just going to set probably the Scapegoat that we knew about. Pass. Try and get in the way there. Asticad, what's the play? Suk doesn't really do anything for you here because you have no spells to use. So it was the third spy, so they had the third spy in hand, which is a little bit unlucky when you had the book on the spy play. But so really all the book did was, protect you from Snatch Steal clearing out both spies. But this is a lot of damage. It'll eat through all of the Scapegoat tokens in one turn. And wow, they're just going to take 3,900 here. Suk on the Faith, set a back row pass, and end phase Scapegoat, because they didn't want all four of them cleared out. So nice play by Asticad here, going for the attack with 4 monsters, because then it means like they're not going to be able to keep a token around for Scapegoat. Now, you did have the option if you're Pepe, you could wait until a couple of these monsters have attacked and then Scapegoat, so that, it can still block some damage and leave you with a couple. But this plays around like main phase 2 Tribe Infecting Virus, for example. And if you just, I guess, Pepe just really, really wanted to make sure the Scapegoat resolved, in which case, go down to 200, but use it in the end phase is the play. We'll see if that ends up working out for them. Pepe's got these 4 goat tokens. You got the creature swap. So if you're Asticad, I wonder if you probably just give him a spy, I guess, right? Spy will kill the Faith, preventing the Suk loop, although it's not really doing anything. Book of Moon on the spy is funny, especially because they don't have any spies left in deck because they got knocked. Metamorphosis, a token. Saw this coming with end phase Scapegoat. That'll steal the Faith. Spending a lot of resources to answer this Suk plus Faith combo, even though there aren't really any super juicy spells in Grave, is kind of interesting. But it can really, it's something. I mean, even if they have like Faith or Graceful or something, how much do you really care? Because they already have a full group of cards. So I'm not sure how great investing so much into just doing this Faith is when you're on 200 life, and it seems like the monsters attacking you are maybe more of a threat, but we'll see if Pepe has an answer for this. We're going to tribute for Thunder Dragon, gets you a Dark Engrave, so now Chaos is turned on if that's something you want to go for. And we're just going to pass, though, with the Thunder Dragon. Not even attacking over anything with the drag is kind of an interesting call. It's not like you need to worry about Mirror Force or Sakuretsu or anything, so leaving these spies on the field seems a little weird to me. But I guess the idea is you don't want to give them chaos by killing a spy, and you can just wall out here with the attack position Thunder Drag because the spies can't get over it. So I can see playing around chaos here. That might be the move. SDCAD though, your offense has been stymied here. Creature swap, Thousand Eyes, Thunder Dragon Wall. Do you have a way to push forward for these last 200 damage? We do have a Graceful Charity grab here. It's going to resolve. They're going to discard. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, not sure what they were rocking with, but there you go. Game 2 for AstiCap. We're going to go to Game 3 here. In what I think is Chaos, Goat Control versus Chaos Control. I haven't seen any Thunder Dragons from AstiCad, so pretty interesting matchup. Little Control Mirror. Pepe's going to lead out with the duo. What a great card to see turn 1 of Game 3. See if they get the full value. They hit a Sinister Serpent, so no, they are very much not going to get the full value. They had the Sinister in hand, which makes Duo a lot worse, and they even got the low roll of hitting the Sinister, so Astica can just choose the worst card in the hand to discard. And you basically just traded Duo for the worst card in their hand. So, probably pretty happy here if you're Astica. Gonna discard the Zaborg. Doesn't do too much. Although Sinister plus Zaborg is kind of a combo, right? Because you get the free Tribute Summon, but we'll see what else is in the hand. Pepe opened Thunder Dragon as well, so Duo into Thunder Dragon. Do we have anything else? It's going to set some back row pass. Interesting. So AstiCad, you have to make the choice here. You know your opponent is playing Duo. Do you want to re-grab this Serpent and have it be risked to be taken away by Dust Shoot, or do you just leave it in grave for the time being? You're going to grab it back. No Dust Shoot here from Pepe anyway, unless they're holding it. Just going to set a monster pass. Definitely could be that Serpent. A lot of stuff in hand here for AstiCad. Pepe, what's your play? Just going to draw pass. Riveting control gameplay here. AstiCad, did you have a real set? Set a monster pass, so you got to think that first one is probably the Serpent. Second one, is it real? We'll see. End phase Scapegoat here from Pepe. It's going to set up for Metamorphosis, steal the new set, I'm guessing. Let's see if that's what they opt to go for. Yep, main phase 1, meta, Thousand Eyes. Steal the new set. And it was... Oh, that was the Sinister. Ah, so you got to think, okay, what's this first one? They didn't flip it up, so it could just be... I mean, like, Sangan probably flips, right? I don't know. This set monster could be a lot of things, I guess. Could maybe be like a Faith with nothing? That seems like a bad set, though. Huh. Interested to see what it could be. Could be Merchant. That doesn't flip, maybe. AstiCad's going to draw for turn. Just draw pass. Thousand Eyes just, being a floodgate. We're going to go Tribute for Thunder Dragon. Set up Chaos. Summon BLS. Get super aggro. BLS banish the set. Oh, it was DD Warrior Lady. Really interesting. Okay, yeah. Standard card in these Go control lists, I think. So that definitely makes sense to me. A little bit interesting that they didn't just flip it up and start getting aggressive here. But maybe not wanting to... Maybe they read that there was a Scapegoat set. That's a pretty common turn 1 play from control decks. And they didn't want to give their opponent's Thousand Eyes an actual, like, beater. Just keep it face down in case they suck it in. Thunder Dragon's going to get in for 16, though. And AstiCad very much on the back foot here. BLS committed to the board, though, for Pepe. So if you have, like, Snatch Steal or something, could be good. Gonna recur that Serpent. How do you answer here? We're gonna go set the Sinister, meta into Thousand Eyes. Pepe, do you have any back row to deal with this? Gonna steal the BLS. Set a back row pass, not running into any Mirror Forces or Sakus or anything. Just trying to stabilize, essentially. And the BLS is dealt with. Pepe, how do you follow up? Snatch Steal. Ah! So smart of AstiCad not playing into Mirror Force or anything, because you had the Book of Moon to reset it next turn and, like, steal the Thunder Dragon. And now you get even more rewarded for waiting, because now you can book to answer the Snatch Steal. Well, actually, the Thunder Dragon can just beat over it, but that is definitely better than letting your opponent just steal the 3,000 attack point monster. So good use of Book of Moon again. Book has been really good for Asticad so far this match. Good in and against control decks for sure. Thunder Dragon's going to be able to kill the Thousand Eyes though, and the Thunder Dragon stands alone along with some goat tokens, but continuing to pressure the life points of Asticad. Going to continue to recur the Serpent. Man, all these back row have just been around for so long, so you have to think that's probably Mirror Forces and stuff like that. It's going to get Set a Monster Pass. Definitely could be the Serpent. Pepe draws Graceful Charity. This pretty strong. Can cash in the last remaining Thunder Dragon. And discard a Scapegoat. You know, you already got 3 goat tokens on field, so pretty redundant at the moment. So definitely improving the hand substantially, most likely. Graceful doing its thing. We're going to Creature Swap. I'll always move your goat token to attack position first so that you can attack for damage. And we'll see what the Creature Swap steals. It was a Gravekeeper Spy, so Asticad committing a real set monster to the board, not trying to bluff with the Sinister Serpent. And because they end up getting this token, the Spy could actually resolve and grab one of its friends starting next turn. You know, Creature Swap does not allow you to change the battle position of a monster the turn that you receive it. So Spy cannot flip face up. But Thunder Dragon can continue to deal damage attacking over that attack position. Goat, dealing 16, knocking the opponent down to 48, which is a 3-turn clock with the Thunder Dragon alone. Include the Spy, can get scary pretty quickly. Asticad, do you have an answer? Can you stabilize? Pot of Greed is a good way to start. Draw into some stuff. I'm going to set a monster, set a back row pass. Still got to be thinking there's a chance that that's Serpent if you're Pepe, although they chose not to bluff before, so interested to see. Pepe's going to draw for turn. Pot of Greed of their own. Hate to see it if you're Asticad. And the Spy's going to flip up. Go into attack mode. Love it. Attack the set monster. It's another Spy. Okay. So that'll be able to wall everything out. So Asticad banking on these double Spies to stabilize here. And now Pepe, you're kind of left a little bit, I mean, you got a ton of back row. It's probably live because you haven't used them all. But your aggression has been halted in its tracks by doing its thing, helping the control player to stabilize. Asticad, what is your play? Upstart Goblin, just to dig for some stuff, thin the deck a little bit. Set a monster pass, sure. Pepe, we got Metamorphosis. We're gonna meta the Thunder Dragon, so probably going into Dark Balter. That doesn't beat over Spy, but it can deal with whatever the set monster is. And it does, importantly, answer Sinister Serpent, too. It's gonna attack the set. It was Magician of Faith, so that's pretty strong. Preventing them from grabbing back the Pot of Greed or the meta or any of that other good stuff. So nice play here with the Dark Balter. They're just gonna pass. Spy's still doing their job walling out the Dark Balter, but that's a pretty big... pretty nice call there from Pepe to prevent the Spy from resolving. Asticad, draw for turn. Normal summon Tribe Infecting Virus. That's one way to deal with Dark Balter. You discard that known Sinister, kill it for free. We've got the Torrential. Now, generally, you would want to like ask for Prio and stuff, but it's not going to matter because he discarded Serpent anyway. But that is just going to blow up this whole board, and this pretty clogged down board state is just going to get it blown wide open. And this game is about to get really interesting, I think. Simplifying immensely, these Spies that were walling out get out of the way. No more Metamorphosis fodder for Pepe for now. Or either player, for matter of fact. And Asticad, having used his normal summon, is just going to have nothing to do here. Gonna hope this back row is enough to prevent the opponent from doing anything crazy. Pepe's gonna draw for turn, slam down Chaos Sorcerer, start getting in 3-turn clock here, but it was a Scapegoat there to protect the life. Do we have a Solemn Judgment out of X Pepe? That would be crazy. Looks like no. Oh, but we do have main phase 2 Tribe Infecting Virus. Discard a real card in Tsukuyomi. So you are just going to trade 1-for-1 with the Scapegoat, but it does prevent any sort of Metamorphosis plus Scapegoat plays from Cat on their turn to answer this Sork. So makes it a little bit harder to deal with this board. I like getting aggressive here if you're Pepe. You're smelling blood. You're going for it. Got to add another back row. Cat. This is a lot to deal with. 2-turn clock. Gonna grab that Serpent back. New set could be Dust Shoot, but it looks like it's not. Normal Summon Breaker. Interesting. Gonna pop one of the old back row. It's a... Okay. Interesting. Bluff set heavy from years ago. Pepe's done that a couple times, just like setting the heavy just to see, I guess. But nice to know that you don't have to deal with that anymore if you're Cat, I guess. Breaker's going to attempt to trade with the tribe. Pepe's going to let that through. Main phase 2, we've got Mind Con to deal with the Chaos Sorcerer. So the board has been dealt with, but no back row or anything. So you're wide open. BLS is dealt with, but Chaos is live. There could be another Chaos Sorcerer coming through. You got to be a little bit worried here if you're Cat. Yeah, there you go. Second Chaos Sorcerer come in. Hit for 23. That's a lot of damage. Cat drops to 2,500. And a set monster here from Pepe. So really, really strong turn. Chaos plus set monster is one of the strongest plays you can really have in this format. At least out of like the fair decks, of course, because it's two probably must-answer cards. You got to be worried that this is a Faith if you're Cat, and there's tons of really, really good stuff to grab in here. Full Trinity in the Grave, Metamorphosis, Snatch Steal, Heavy Storm, crazy. Cat, once again on the back foot, you dealt with BLS, you've dealt with Dark Vaulter, you've dealt with Tribe, you've dealt with one Chaos Sorcerer, but just the threat density out of Chaos Control can sometimes be a lot for these slower control decks to deal with. So Cat, what's the plan? Nobleman of Crossout deals with the Faith. Okay, that's one way to do it. Answers that threat, but no Faiths probably for the rest of the game unless you're sitting on one in hand. Cat, one Faith in the Grave, none left in deck. So probably you have a read Pepe that there is a Faith in hand, which would be really interesting. We've got Upstart to dig a little bit further into Set a Monster Pass. Decent chance that that's a Faith. It could just be a Sinister Serpent, though. Pepe, do you have something to get through? Asura Priest, just to clear the monster out. Attack into it. It is the Faith. Okay, so the Sorcerer is going to be able to hit them down to 200 life points. But Cat's going to get the chance to grab probably a Pot of Greed. Maybe... Yeah, I mean, Mind Control just deals with the Sork, not the Asura Priest. So I would be surprised to see something other than Pot of Greed grabbed here. And you have one turn to make your last stand, unless there's just like a Ring of Destruction here to win the game. Show me Ring? Nope, not yet. Cat draw for turn. Got that Pot of Greed. Full grip of cards here. Gonna set a monster, set 2 pass. You know about the Asura Priest in hand. End phase Dust Tornado to clear something out. This could be big. Let's see what we hit. Hits a Royal Decree. Okay, interesting. Probably nice to know you don't have to worry about that for now if you're Pepe. Let's see, we got the Asura Priest. Sork attacks the set monster. It's Tsukuyomi, which is going to flip the Asura Priest face down, prevent it from attacking this turn, save your life points. You do go negative, but you live to see another turn. Let's see what this back row is. Maybe just a bluff. Cat, what's your play here? Just going to concede. What did you have in hand? Duo that you couldn't use. Asura Priest that was dead. Sangan? Set Dust Shoot. Oh, wow. You just had Decree plus Dust Shoot. Whew. Had a lot of cards. Resolved the pot. Just too many threats to answer from the side of Pepe. You know, you could answer BLS. You could answer Dark Vaulter. You could answer Tribe. You could answer Sork number 1. You'd even answer Set Magician of Faith. But you couldn't deal with Sork number 2. That was just one bridge too far. And Pepe... here on Chaos Control, takes it over Cat on more traditional Go Control lists. Really good 3-game match. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.